Okay, you're live.
Hey everybody, Rob Nelson here. I'm going live for the first time. I do live things. Haley over here is helping me. We're talking about clients today. I'm hoping this works. Maybe actually, Haley, you can check the feed to make sure it's working. Anyways, what we're gonna do is this is gonna be fun. What I'd like you guys to do is start asking questions, and to help me start asking questions.
It works.
Okay. To help, Haley actually has helped me feed a bunch of questions into balloons right here at the moment. So we have 52 questions in balloons. And we did a Patreon event a little bit earlier on this same topic, and some of those questions got mixed into here. So I'm going to start popping the balloons, and we're going to go live on this. So this will be fun. I see a bunch of people have already joined. I'm doing all of this, by the way, live on both Instagram and on YouTube, but I'm only answering the questions mostly on YouTube. So the link to my YouTube one is on the Instagram profile. So click on that and go over to YouTube and follow us out. Okay. Can you
all
give me
these
a pair of
questions
scissors?
too. I can get you some scissors. And all these questions too came from Patreons, right?
Yep.
Okay. So and they're all in here. So you'll be able to tell him which one to hit first. And then he's got to bust him. So that'll make it a little bit fun.
I'm going to pick them all randomly. I think it's too hard.
We got to keep it fun, right?
Okay, so if you do have any questions about that, start it right here. I'm going to go ahead and pop the first balloon.
Oh gosh, we should do it with a sword or something.
You want to just pop it real quick?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I do it randomly, or do you want me to
do it randomly? Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
It
is hot in the studio right at the moment.
Woo! Okay. Here you go. I'm going to head out.
This is just to get things going.
Have fun.
Thanks, honey. Kids are inside. I don't know what they're doing. By the way, I'm just going to give you some background on what we're doing here on the channel. I do a lot of tutorials about how to do science filmmaking on this channel. And every other week, we're going to start doing live stuff on the YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. That's in part because, well, Jonas right at the moment is working on the Driftless documentary, and the Driftless documentary is taking up all of his time. So he usually does every other week with me. So this is going to take the place of a video that takes me forever. And so every other week, well, this is what we'll do. Okay, here's the first question by Jamie M. Describe the ideal client relationship, and why is that? Well, I think that's a good question. I think the ideal client relationship really is one where you have similar motives and you have similar interests. So for instance, I'm working with the North Carolina Zoo right at the moment, and my passion is to try to communicate science, in particular animals and ecology, to the world. And the zoo has the exact same motive. So if you have a client that you know is really passionate about the same thing, then oftentimes what they can do is they can start trusting you, and and then in reverse, you can do things that benefit that client. So I get so many people coming in and waving. That's fantastic. Let's see. Mr. Lumixia says, what's your best tip for negotiating prices with clients? Well, that's a good question. So when I work with clients, first of all, I really like to lay out a good groundwork from the beginning and give them a scale of things. So I think when you're talking with clients, you have to know how much different productions cost, and then set up your expectations with them for really at the very beginning. So for instance, are they wanting little YouTube vlogs, or are they wanting like a reality show, or are they wanting Blue Planet stuff? And I think if you lay out a spectrum of prices, which is going to be difficult for you to figure out at the beginning, and I have made videos about that, and that's how much do videos cost. So you can Google, or you can search that in the comments, or you can search that in the YouTube links. I've laid out the spectrum of prices. I usually start with telling clients, like, look, normally I know things cost me a couple $1,000s a minute, right? And I know that because I've done lots and lots of videos in the past. But then I show them a couple of examples of things that gets you. And then I say, okay, and I can also do $2,000 for like a 3-4 minute video as well, and kind of in a vloggy sense. and I lay that out. And then I say, well, look at these other productions. These had $100,000 budget. Now, then I like ask them, I give them the next question. I say, where do you want to fit along that scale? And so I think always giving options to your client is really important. So Haley says hi. She's actually on from in the house right at the moment. By the way, if you guys are on Instagram, I'm doing this all via YouTube. So tune in there because that's where most of this stuff is happening. Okay, I'm going to pop another one so we can go on to the next question. Holy crud. This I know this is a little bit gimmicky, but it's kind of fun because I have all these questions pre-planned out. Haley fed them in there. Okay, here. This one says, how do you talk about money when you're nervous about bringing it up? Are there any good phrases to use, and when do you bring it up? This kind of related to the previous one, but I think this is one of the common mistakes people make early on is they're really nervous to talk about money with clients, so they never do. They never bring it up. By the way, I'm turning off the live thing on Instagram. If you want to see more, go to the link in my profile. Awesome. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so again, the question was, how do you talk about money? Sometimes you can be really nervous about talking about money. I think the best way to talk about money is to bring it up really quickly. And I often will say things like, what is your budget? Obviously, you have a budget for this. Like, what do you want to work with? And then instead of me having to say, here's my price, then a lot of times people will come right out front and say, okay, well, here's the range we were thinking. Can you work with something like that? And then you can say, well, yeah, I think I can work within that range, or maybe you can't. The big trick with working with clients is you have to know a little bit about how much videos cost. And I'm going to leave some links to those videos that we created down below because that's really important. Okay, let's see. Oh, Haley is adding those links to how much videos cost down below. Also, I don't rarely do live videos. So those of you who are watching are having this as a rare treat. This is very rare. And most of the reason for that is I like creating videos and then having the ability to edit them up later and put them out. And that is usually really fun. So, okay, we're going to pop another one. Where's my scissors? Oh, I almost lost the thing. Okay, well, that's fantastic. I don't even know what happened to the... I got to keep track of all of these notes as they go, as they ping out of here. Okay, how do you handle clients that want to contribute to every decision on set? Well, I think this is a good question to kind of, first of all, explain how working with clients usually goes, in my perspective. So I do a whole range of different videos. I do YouTube videos where there is no client. Essentially, you all out there are the clients. And that's a very different relationship than, say, a lot of what's started Jonas and I's work and Haley's work is doing safety videos. So we would work with a client who was very particular about what they wanted. And in that case, it was important to set up that relationship ahead of time. And so they hired us for a reason. And we would go out and we would make the videos for them, except they would show up on set. And I know a lot of filmmakers who would get really nervous with that. And so often what we would do is we would explain to them that we're going to make a whole bunch of decisions while we're out there. Feel free to pipe in, but it's going to probably slow things down if we have too much decision making going on set. So we would give them a couple of things to actually make decisions on so that they felt useful. Like, for instance, what kind of life jacket are we going to use? Or generally looking at the set and making sure everything was like it was safe and stuff like that. So I think on the bigger sets, like when I work with Science Channel, we don't have a client on set. So the client would be the Science Channel. And that basically allows things to move very smoothly. But yeah, working with clients is always going to be tricky because your client is going to change depending on what you're shooting. So let's see. Feel free to add your questions over in the links over there. That's how I know what to ask. I have all of these in the balloons that I'm popping because people ask them who are Patreon supporters. Holy crud. I don't know if I can ever not be scared by these balloon pops. Jeez, I know it's going to happen. Okay, what is your best client experience and what is your worst? This is from Edward from England. So I've probably worked with 100 clients now, and I think the best client relationships are the ones that really respect myself as a filmmaker and allow me to do my job. The worst client relationships, I think, are the ones that want to micromanage the things that I'm doing, whether that's what shots we're getting or where we're going for shoots. They feel like they have to make all the decisions that I'm making as the director of the shoot. So those are difficult. Hey, Oliver. The best clients, though, are the ones I keep working with. So I try to, if they're a good client and I enjoy working with them, I keep up that relationship as much as possible, and I keep working with them over and over and over again. But definitely, you never know if you're going to have a good client or a bad client. But the micromanaging is really a terrible client. But sometimes that's what you get. So, okay. So Oliver, Oliver here over in the comments says he's only done freelance jobs. So do you have any tips for beginners getting into this? Good question. I think the more and more established you get, the more you get this feel for how working with clients is. But when you're new, I totally get it. You have no idea. You have no idea how to do a job that pays. And Oliver, you said you're 15. So I think here's the first tip, Oliver. You gotta figure out how long it's going to take you to do a job. So do a bunch of jobs for free at the beginning. You're in the ability to just do for fun jobs. You could also find brands that you like. And you could approach that brand and say, hey, maybe they make t-shirts down the road, or they sell kayaks, or they do tours. You could say, hey, would you be cool for making a video about what you do, or maybe like a trade. That's a good way to start with clients. And you basically say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this video. Here's what you're going to get out of it. Maybe you're not selling it at the beginning, but then you start getting a feel for how it is to work with a client. I think that's a fantastic way to do it. And we've done tons of that in the past, especially with video work. You have a lot of power because as a company, they need video. And you, as a filmmaker, provide the video. And so you can get stuff in return. And bartering is a fantastic way of doing that. Oh, shoot. Is there a robot sound to this? That's terrible. Well, we'll have to just deal with it, I guess. If it's a robot sound that I'm making, I blame it on this microphone. Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. I'm trying to see.
Haley's coming back in to give me... What are you doing? Is the sound terrible?
Yeah, the sound's coming in all echoey and staticky.
Oh, crud. Really?
So I don't know if this is going to work for you, coming through.
Echoey
or
and
if
staticky.
I need a different camera. That has the new...
Okay. I apologize for this, everybody. That's not going to work at all because I don't have the thing. How about if I do this? I'm going to try to unplug my